What's up, gamers, and welcome back to our video series on how to open a brick and mortar retail store for board games, TTRPGs, and TCGs. In this video, we're going to talk about choosing the right location for your awesome game shop. Now, this is a little bit longer video, but if you stick with me, I am going to give you my juiciest secret for finding a location at the end. When it comes to opening a game store, location is almost everything. You want to choose a spot that's easily accessible and visible with plenty of foot traffic and parking options. You don't want to be stuck in a hidden corner of a strip mall, am I right? Oh wait, I did that once. When it comes to retail spaces, there are essentially two types of businesses that you need to know about: commodities and specialties. Commodity businesses are like McDonald's, coffee shops, and auto shops, and these are all types of stores that need to seek out your attention. They're a dime a dozen, and they need to build signs 20 or 30 feet in the air so they can flag you down from the highway because you aren't looking for them. They're looking for you. But specialty shops like game stores, cigar shops, and record shops aren't hunting you down. Quite the opposite. You hunt them down. They aren't a dime a dozen, and chances are you're going to Google them before you even leave the house, and that means they can get away with being off the beaten path. With that said, if you have the money to open next to a Target, open next to Target. It will only help you and save marketing costs. Everyone going to Target will walk right past your door. If you're opening a game store that carries a bit of everything, you can pretty much open anywhere. But if your store is going to specialize, you need to keep your demographic in mind. What age they are, where they populate with their downtime. If you're opening a store that specializes in TTRPGs like Dungeons & Dragons, you'll want to consider a location that's close to a college. Am I right? And maybe you're focusing on TCGs like Pokemon or Magic? Well, in that case, you'll want to consider someplace entirely different. A location that's easy to find and convenient for parents and kids to stop in after school on weekends. Different age groups. And if board games are more your thing, that's an entirely different demographic. You'll want to consider a location that's close to other places where people might spend a few hours, like cafes or restaurants or bars. Somewhere that will attract locals to your store and maybe turn into a hot spot for a game night after they grab a couple beers. And it's always a good idea to start by finding a spot as far away from competition as possible. But Alex, if you're supposed to stay away from competition, why do I see CVS and Walgreens across the street from each other? Why do I see McDonald's opening right next to a Burger King? Well, this is a bit of advanced business that you may or may not want to avoid. Opening a McDonald's restaurant next to a Burger King may seem counterintuitive at first. Both of them are competitors in the burger business. However, there are several reasons why it might actually be a good idea. Number one is increased foot traffic. Having two popular burger restaurants located next to each other can attract more customers to the area. Some people who may have initially been planning on going to Burger King may see that it has a long line and be tempted to go to McDonald's, or vice versa. And this can result in both restaurants benefiting from increased foot traffic and exposure. Number two is convenience for customers. Customers may appreciate having multiple fast food options in the same location. It provides them with more choices and more convenience. It's because they have different products and target markets. While both McDonald's and Burger King are burgers, they each have different options. By having these two restaurants located next to each other, customers can choose where they want to go. Maybe mom and dad want a Whopper, but the kids want a kids meal. Now they don't have to drive across town, and both businesses win. If your competition is out of something and you're next door, chances are they will come get it from you before turning to Amazon. Also, you might be able to host a Magic tournament a few hours before their scheduled tournament and make it easier for customers to come to yours and then walk over to theirs. Remember, when it comes to location, it's not just about accessibility, it's also about atmosphere. You want to choose a location that reflects the type of environment you want to create for your customers. Whether that's cozy and intimate or open and welcoming, the space should represent your store's personality. You do not want to open a family-friendly game shop next to an adult bookstore. A comic shop with a stripper pole called Comic Strips. Strips? Get it? Bad idea. Bad idea. Keep in mind there are other costs associated with running a brick and mortar store. Make sure you factor in what the utilities are going to cost, what insurance is going to cost, and other expenses when evaluating things like price per square inch. You don't have to know everything and ask lots of questions. Ignore your pride, wanting to pretend to be business savvy, and learn by asking. Reach out to your local SBA, that Small Business Association. The government literally funds the SBA to help you get started. And finally, as promised, I'm going to give you my big secret, and that is women. Do whatever you can to create an environment women want to be in. Not because girls will bring in guys. No. A great test of how cringy a shop is how comfortable are women when they are there. I involve my wife and as many other women as we know whenever I'm planning a shop or a location because their feedback makes a huge difference. Location isn't everything. Even if you have the perfect spot, you will still need to deliver great customer experience. So many shops I have been to have a great location, and yet women I know would drive across town to avoid them because their atmosphere sucks or smells. If you can get women to hang out at your shop, it's golden. So there you have it, folks. Choosing the right location is essential for the success of your game store, and it's important to consider both accessibility and atmosphere. In the next video, we'll dive into the details of signing a lease and what you need to know before committing to a location. And a landlord. Until then, happy gaming. And if you like these mugs, you can go get them at DysonDragons.com.